And today we've got someone quite special. We have, well, I suppose slightly special at least. So we've got a winemaker from the Hunter Valley called Mike Iuliis, and hopefully I pronounced that correctly, considering how many I's are in his last name.
It is pronounced correctly.
Very good.
It's lovely to be here. It's lovely to be called special. I feel special.
As long as you're feeling special, that's all that counts.
Yes.
So what, I suppose this is probably a traditionally styled Hunter Valley Shiraz, if anything. I mean, if that's without being particularly rude.
Yep.
And in that sort of point, I mean, one of the things about Hunter Valley Shiraz is that it is always going to be a medium-bodied wine.
Yep.
I mean, the classic example of it is always going to be very medium-bodied.
There's almost been a full turnaround in the Hunter over the last, since, I've only been making Shiraz in the Hunter for a very, very short time, and I've seen a turnaround in the styles that we were chasing probably, 12, 13 years ago, and, trying to get sugar levels up there and trying to
definitely.
And, now we're seeing things pick, with alcohols of about, 13, 13.5, and this sort of almost embracing our roots of what Hunter Shiraz used to be. And, there's young guys there making just some outstanding styles of Shiraz, but really embracing that medium body. And it's our point of difference. And we shouldn't be trying to make full body.
No, it's not a Barossa. It's not a Barossa, it never will be. And I think that's a real boon, if anything else, because it means that the wines are always going to be quite elegant. They're always going to be, I suppose, and it's an overused term, but food friendly.
It is an overused term, but there's no real other way to describe it. You see these wines, they've got savoury tannins, and they're just made for drinking with food. The thing that we see a lot up in the Hunter with people coming to sell a door and coming up and trying the wines is, they finish a bottle off with dinner, and they say,
two.
Well, that's what I hope. They come back and buy some more, but and they're saying, I can actually finish a bottle. The problem that I'm having with these other wines, and look, those bigger style wines definitely have a place.
Yeah, they do.
There's sort of what Australian Shiraz, particularly overseas, was built on, was that style of wine. But they're drinking a bottle or two of this with dinner and loving it, and going back for the second, third, fourth glass.
Well, the other good thing about it is this is a style actually compared to like that real full, rich South Australian style. And nothing against South Australians, we love them, of course. But this sort of more medium body style, actually, I'd say, and obviously I'm particularly biased, but I reckon this ages better. I think so. I reckon it really does. You could put one of these down, and in 20 or 30 years' time, you'll know that it will probably look better than plenty of that richer style of red.
The thing that they've got going for them is similar to the Semillon, is that acid structure.
Absolutely.
And they've got structure to them, and if they start off their life as a young wine, they've got beautiful structure. They'll tend to hold together a little bit better. If they are a bit rich and broad and jammy, and they'll just keep filling out. But that's the thing we look for in the winery, with our Shiraz and when we pick them, is the acidity. And it's kind of I think personally it's a little bit overlooked in particularly in Shiraz making in Australia. There is a big push for winemakers looking for flavour development.
Yeah.
Flavour's not there, but I see it as a bit of a balance. Yep, the flavour's got to be there, but you're also looking at natural acidity and...
Yeah, okay. So as a result, do you find yourself actually going out there and okay, we're going to pick now more on okay, so most people say, okay, let's have, the classic Shiraz style, let's go there and just go, look, those berries taste really good, we're going to pick them right now. Whereas you're more like, okay, I can see where this might go, so I'm going to pick it a little bit earlier.
Usually in the Hunter, we're just watching the weather. We're just going, it's going to rain tomorrow, go and pick it. In an ideal world, yes. We'll pick everything we do for the winery is all hand-picked. We'll often do 2 or 3 picks over the course of vintage, particularly of Shiraz. We'll go out early, we'll grab a parcel at around, that 13% level.
Definitely.
12.5 to 13, and then might pick the majority of it between sort of 13, 13.5, and then maybe a small amount we'll leave it out and just see how the flavours develop. But what we've seen over sort of 5 or 6 years of doing that, the best stuff's coming in at 13 to 13.5, and that's what we're seeing.
Okay. What's the alcohol on this? Do you know?
I do know on this one, and it is 2010. It is slightly a riper style. This one's just on 14.
Okay.
And that was just a function of the vintage. But it's got a little bit more acid to it, and it does sort of hold that alcohol for a hunter. That's probably as high as I like to see them go personally. Okay. But it's got lovely richness. It's got lovely fruit.
It definitely looks like it's still a lovely, vibrant wine. There's no question about that. That real purple fruit vibrancy going on in these sort of wines. And then finally, the last one, and this is probably, look, I'd probably say this is my favourite of the whole lot, and a very classic Shiraz off a vineyard it's a pretty special vineyard, this one too.
It is. It was planted in 1968 by Lindemans. It's called the Stephen Vineyard.
Not the Stevens, going to make sure we get about that. Stephen.
Not the Stevens Vineyard, not to be confused with another Hunter producer. Rather large, making very cracking wine off a vineyard called Stevens.
Yes.
This was originally planted by Lindemans in 68. We now lease it. There's about 18.5 acres of Shiraz there that we now lease and obviously have use of the old historic name.
Yeah.
But the one thing the Hunter, particularly in the last probably 5 or 6 years, has been really conscious of is our heritage.
Yep.
And although there is a little bit of a modern progression of younger people coming through and young winemakers, there's been a real sort of wanting to know about the history of the region.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got the oldest vines in Australia, and we want to know about them. So there's a bit of a register being put up of historic old sites.
That's right, all the old ones.
Yeah, the historic vineyard register. And this vineyard here is actually on that register. And keeping separate parcels together and trying, having something special in the winery, being able to identify it early on.
Yeah.
This parcel of fruit, Blind Freddy could have told you it was going to be pretty good.
You're just like, this is sexy booze.
It always had looked pretty smart, and it would have been an absolute travesty to blend this.
Absolutely.
This portion of, this bit here is only a section off that 18.5 acres, so it was a particular block. We picked everything separately, and as I said, sort of stagger the picking. And this particular parcel, and I think that we made in total of this about 400 cases.
Yeah.
Always looked pretty smart.
Yeah.
And
it looks very smart now.
Yeah, it would have been a travesty to blend it away in the bigger blend, and it's only 13%.
Yeah. Okay. Would you like to say? Well, you can't actually see this right now, but this is like this lovely purple colour. You probably can't see in my glass there either. But there's a lovely, real purple brightness to this wine, and that's probably the 2009 vintage in the Hunter is renowned for making these really lovely, quite opulent and beautiful wines. But also wines I think you've got at 13%. This has got some real backbone behind it too. This is something that we'll probably live 20 years without even trying.
I hope so. This vineyard has a history. It's as I said, it's an old vineyard, and there are still you get a good bottle of 91, and it's still a cracking wine. I hope this one,
lovely one,
that'll keep it in, keep well,
and especially in screw caps now too.
Well, as I say, a good bottle of 91.
Yeah, exactly.
I've had a few bottles in my time, and Lindemans weren't renowned for using the finest of quality bits of bark on the top of them, and there is a bit of hit and miss with them, but the good bottles are just sensational. This wine here, I was probably the wine I'm most proud of today, particularly in the Shiraz to come out.
Yeah, definitely.
And of our stable, and hopefully the next few vintages will be even better.
Yeah, okay, cool. Can I ask something? What's your favourite of, it's always trying to ask you what your favourite kid is, but what's your favourite variety to work with? Lots of people say, okay, you're in the Hunter, you're probably all about Shiraz and Semillon. Is Shiraz probably your favourite?
It'd be between Shiraz and Chardonnay. I do actually enjoy the winemaking of Chardonnay.
Yeah, of course.
And I enjoy, Shiraz, we've changed our style quite, reasonably significant over the last 5 years of making Shiraz. Trying to retain natural fruit, making sort of cleaner wines and fresher wines. Definitely. This wine here is actually mostly out of larger format barrels. Yep. So most barrels, as you may or may not be aware, are called a barrique, and they're 225 litres. Most of the stuff that went into this came out of a larger format barrel called a puncheon or pouchon.
Pouchon. I like that. That's good.
I just made that up, but I had a lovely French girl work for me in the cellar this year at harvest time, and I said, "Are they called a pouchon?" And she went, "What the hell are you talking about?"
It's a barrique and pouchon.
I said, "But it makes me feel like a winemaker and feel like I'm really knowledgeable." But they're a 500 litre barrel, so they're a larger format barrel. And
so that mean a hogshead? Where do you get a hogshead? How do you get the French on that? Hogshead, you know, that's so Australian. Hogshead.
So, yeah, we're just finding out of those larger format barrels, the wines are coming out probably with better oak integration and looking really fresh and vibrant. That colour, having that really beautiful purple hue in the colour.
Yeah, beautiful.
And, you know, having come out looking fresher and you know, the wines are better off.
Yeah.
So there has been a bit of a shift with the way we're making Shiraz. But yeah, Shiraz and Chardonnay are the two ones that we really
get excited about.
Yeah, have a bit of fun with, and you know, do a couple of little parcels and keep everything separate and yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we won't blab on too long. Thank you very much, Mike. Thanks for coming on and talking about your great wines here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, that's all right. And
I love drinking in the morning.
And the afternoon. And the afternoon. And the evening as well. I reckon cheers.
Cheers.
Cracka.